before I add my bass part, I want to take these percussion loops and actually loop them. This is not to be confused with loop playback in Pro Tools, because loop playback will take a particular start time and end time. Let me take this count off. And let's just set this for a shorter end time, like how about 1 bar? Loop playback gives me this. Well, I don't want the playhead to start here and end there and start here and end there and do that. What I want is for this clip to loop itself until I tell it stop. So I'm going to zoom a little bit so that we can see more of the sequence. And Option Command L, which is different than the Shift Command L that turns on loop playback, will let me set a number of loops. So turns out I'm probably okay with 3 more loops. And when a clip is looped, we get this little arrow down at the bottom. That indicates that these extra regions are just loops of the initial region. So I'll do this for Option Command L, all of these. And now I have more to play to. So you can see that I've set up a bass track here. Let's jump back to the mix window. Bass is on the top, which means it's on the left back here. And what I've done is I've gone to the basses and chosen fretless bass, but then I reached in here to an empty segment and I've added a second sound to it. So let's audition them one at a time. So I'm going to pull the bass, this bass down and listen to the fretless. So I like the growl of it, but I wanted a little more attack than that fretless gives me. So I added about this much bass. And maybe just a little less growl from the fretless. Somewhere in there. Remember, I'm really not committing this to all time. I can change this on the fly. I can change this later on, and as I mix, I can change all sorts of parameters to the MIDI data right up to the very time I hit the bounce and commit this to a mix. I think I'm happy with this bass sound, but you really never know until you start playing it whether it responds to your touch or not. So I will turn count off back on, and I'm already in record. And let me see if I can play this bass part correctly. And it turns out that the next 8 bars are exactly the same as these 8 bars. So being as lazy as I am, and there's evidence for this, you've seen it already, I'm going to trim this off, but not by 16th notes. I don't trust my cursor ability, so let's just do it by bars and trim it to exactly there. Option Command L. Total number of loops is 2 loops. And let's take a listen without count off. Well, I'm reasonably happy with where I put the bars and beats, but if I weren't, I would quantize this part. So I would double click and look at the MIDI editor. Let's magnify this, bring this back up a little bit to about there, so that I can kind of see that where things are falling. I'm going to switch this to grid mode. Notice that just being in grid mode back here in the edit window is not enough. You actually have your own mode inside of the MIDI editor. So I'll do absolute. I'm on 16ths now, so I probably maybe want to be around 8ths so that I can see where things are falling. So I do want this rushed. This looks like it's rushed. I'm really more concerned with where my downbeats fall, these A's, these A notes, the other notes in the part. So it's possible to just quantize certain notes. So I'll do that. I'll say event and quantize. And these actually, I want to quantize to the quarter note. That 16th note will probably give me what I want. And it moved this guy just a smidgen. I probably want to quantize my Fs as well. Those are sort of strong notes that are on downbeats. So let's do that. Same quantization. And here's what we have. So I think in this part now I have some precision. Of course, I put it there later after I sloppily played the part. But the point is I have precision now through my editing. I have precise notes that are precisely on beats. And then I have notes that are sort of a little floppier, like this guy just got rushed just a smidgen. This guy got rushed just a smidgen. This guy's just a little bit off. So if you want absolutely precise parts, then you quantize everything. But there's a way for you to get some precision and decide which notes fall exactly on a beat, and then which notes sort of give it more flavor by being slightly rushed or slightly dragged. Now, when we talked about tracks a long time ago, we talked about diamond lanes and MIDI velocity. Let me move this transport up here. So you can see that the notes that I just selected up here are being highlighted down here with velocity. And if I decided that one was too loud, let's say this top F, not all of them, but just this one F. Let's say he's just too loud. I bring his velocity down. So now he's clearly too soft. But again, MIDI allows us to edit certain parameters without touching other parameters. So we're not changing the sound here, except that we're changing the velocity, which may change the sound just a little bit. So as you can see, it's the same patch. We're just changing how it responds to velocity. Now, this is also an opportunity for you to make a note shorter using your trimmer. I'm in grid mode right now, so I probably want to switch to slip if I want to just make this a tiny bit shorter. Let's make it that much shorter and see if we like it. All right, it's a little too short now, so let me undo that and bring him back to his full length. But that is a way for you to change durations. And one last thing we can change is pitch. Let's say I played the wrong note. I could just move its pitch. Turns out that this F is the correct note, but I have the ability to take this all over the place. Now just undo and put him back where he belongs. And that's the MIDI editor. I do see one interesting little thing back here. This note appears to be a glitch. That looks like the good note, and that little sliver, I think, is a wrong note, but let's listen and find out. Yeah, so C, C, G, C. That little D doesn't belong. We light him up, we say goodbye, and he's out of our lives forever. So let's see if there's any other little glitches. Yep, there's another one right there. There was some sloppiness in the part. Do I want to get rid of those or leave them? Yeah, I think we want to get rid of them. Now, I should have edited this part before I looped it, and then I wouldn't have to do this all over again. So learn from my mistake and fix your part before you loop it, and then you only have to edit one time. All right, I think our bass part is done. It's time to add some melody to this, and we'll do that in the next movie.